I'm Gerry Georgatos. Welcome to Opinionated. Each week I've been opening up with the mantra, the premise, that the ability to discover the truth is outstripped by the capacity to manifest deceit. It may not be more relevant than today. Today our topic is terrorism, the portrayal of terrorism. We'll be listening to a couple of guests, experts in our first segment. Dr. Anne Aly, a research fellow, associate professor at Curtin University and a policy advisor to both state and federal governments on terrorism and counter-terrorism. And our second guest, crossover, will be Robert Barwick from the Citizen Electoral Council, a senior researcher who will also demonstrate expertise on this topic. But before we move on, let's thank our supporters who have made this possible: Stage and Studio Productions, Gateway Printing, William Jeffries Carpet, Warehouse Osborne Park, and Perth Prop and Party Shop. Now that that's done and dusted, let's go to our opening clip, which will frame the discussion that we'll head with in our next segment on radicalisation.
He says there were no outward signs that Yusra was radicalised, and they're convinced the internet was solely responsible. But how unusual is that? I spoke to Hannah Stewart, who's an expert in this field.
What we've seen over the last 15 years is an increase in online radicalisation, much in the same way as for the rest of us. The internet and social media has become more pervasive in our everyday life. So where people perhaps used to meet individuals in bookstores or in mosques or in community centres, we have an image of hate preachers. This is now just transferred online.
What do you think they could have said to her? This was a girl who's doing very well at school. She wanted to be a dentist. But now she's joined a group that doesn't believe in education for girls, that believes in horrific violence. What could they have said to have turned her?
I think it's very hard for most of us to understand this, but we have to think that the ties that we have to our community, to our family, to our country, how strong those are. What these groups manage to do is make young people believe that their ties to their religion, to their co-religionists, people who are being oppressed in Syria and Iraq, they try to twist that, to use that as leverage and then present themselves as the saviours of that religion, and that those young people need to go out and support them in order to advance their religion. Even though she's only a 15-year-old girl? Yes, well, the use of women by jihadist groups isn't that unusual. Usually they're a kind of supportive role, encouraging. It's